Aharon Zisling is related to Santos Kasani. Jack is over Santos in the shining photograph. The Israeli Declaration of Independence, formerly the Declaration of the Establishment of the State of Israel, was made in 1948 and contains Aharon Zisling as one of the signatures. It declared the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine. The idea of a Jewish homeland in Palestine had been a goal of Zionist organizations since the late 19th century. In 1917, British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour expressed support for this goal in a letter to British Jewish community leader Walter, Lord Rothschild. Santos Kasani was the proprietor of the largest school of dancing in England. In 1933, Santos Kasani opened his own nightclub in Imperial House, Regent Street, London, and British Pathé was there to record it. Strangely, Santos Kasani failed to secure himself a place in dance posterity with all his connections in the media. The Declaration of Independence was officially adopted by the Continental Congress on July 4, 1776, and the date in the shining photo where Jack is in it is also July 4th. Isn't it strange how the United States considers Israel to be its greatest ally, even though the United States doesn't even need the Middle East? They're both doing the hand sign that Baphomet uses. Santos Kasani gained fame relatively quickly in the 1920s London dance scene, rising to prominence after adopting the name in late 1921, which is highly strange. Santos Kasani gave inconsistent personal accounts of the date and location of his birth throughout his life. Despite his Russian Jewish origins, he insisted he was born in Krugersdorp, South Africa, but this was denied by the South African authorities. The connection between the name Santos Kasani and the meaning to shine is rooted in the Greek etymology of names derived from the same linguistic base as Cassander or Cassandra. Santos Kasani's name identification. Researchers in 2024 and 2025 identified Santos Kasani, a famous 1920s British ballroom dancer, as the central figure in the original 1921 photograph used for the final shot of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Linguistic root, Kas. The name Kasani, historically linked to variants like Kassiani or Cassander, shares the ancient Greek root kas. The verb kekasmai. This root is derived from the Greek verb kekasmai, which means to excel, to surpass, or to be distinguished. Translation as shine. In the context of etymology, kekasmai is frequently translated as to shine, specifically shining upon men for the name Cassandra, Cassander. Cinematic significance. This creates a symbolic link in the film. The man in the 1921 photo, Kasani, literally has a name that means to shine, mirroring the title and the central supernatural theme of The Shining. The shine in Stephen King's The Shining refers to a psychic ability, a form of telepathy and clairvoyance that allows individuals like Danny Torrance to read minds, see ghosts and glimpse the future, often activated by trauma or inherited, connecting characters across his stories through a shared supernatural sense. Hereditary, can be passed down through families. Trauma-induced, can be activated or heightened by severe childhood trauma. External influence can be triggered by psychic locations like the Overlook Hotel or otherworldly forces. For Santos Kasani, having the ability to shine would mean he was the original shining soul of that 1921 era, whose identity and physical form were eventually claimed by the hotel to be reused for Jack Torrance 60 years later. The original sin of the Overlook. In the film, the hotel's evil is often linked to an original sin, specifically the murder of Native Americans during its construction on an indigenous burial ground. If Kasani had the shine, his bloodline would be psychically tethered to these past atrocities, as the gift often forces individuals to relive and reanimate the hotel's foundational sins. The burden of the name. The name Santos means saints or holy. Combined with the root of Kasani, kekasmai, to shine, his identity presents a spiritual contradiction, a holy shiner. In the film's logic, failing to use this holy gift to stop the hotel's cycle could be seen as the ultimate sin, leading to his soul being permanently absorbed into the 1921 photograph. The trauma of the body. Historically, Santos Cassani was a World War I pilot who survived a horrific crash in 1919 that required extensive facial reconstruction. This real-life trauma, the sin of war, resulted in a face that many viewers for decades described as devilish or unnatural. In a symbolic sense, his bloodline's sin was the violence of the 20th century, which Kubrick used to give Jack Torrance a physical form that looks both human and haunted. A template for reincarnation. Because Jack Nicholson's face was superimposed onto Cassani's body, Cassani's bloodline literally provides the physical frame for Jack Torrance's eternal existence in the hotel. If Cassani's lineage was the source of the original shine at the Overlook, then every subsequent manager, like Jack, is essentially a spiritual descendant or a recycled version of that first sinful presence trapped in 1921. In short, what will keep happening is the eternal return. The hotel uses the shine of this specific bloodline to ensure that 1921 never ends. Every time a Zisling, a sweet innocent soul, enters the hotel, they are stripped of their name, given a Cassani mask, a shining mask, and forced to pay for an original sin they didn't personally commit, but are psychically tethered to by blood.